for Speed Underground. Except it doesn't look like an old game anymore. Play the music and stop. You got to actually stop. I'm not even trying to get claimed, you know. This is the RTX mod for Need for Speed Underground 1. We actually checked it out on Underground 2 right here in the previous video, and actually it turned out pretty well, I think. But how does it feel on Need for Speed Underground 1? Now this, I'm gonna say this section here, it's a bit hit or miss. The cars do have a bit more reflection than the previous. They all kind of look metallic. The paint quite struggles with the RTX, but the actual gameplay I think looks really freaking cool. This is where we find out if my controller's set up correctly, but this looks awesome. This section here looks oh no, it's in reverse. Why is A reverse on this game? I feel like I remember that happening in the Let's Play. Let's get it. Off we go. R34 Eddie Skyline. I actually built it in the game. There's a nice tutorial. Basically, that you need a few mods to be able to do it. The extra options, or you can just do it, you know, legit by getting like 3 million. But anyway, here is Need for Speed Underground, and it looks modern. It looks new. The only thing that you can tell that doesn't look really modern, I would say, is obviously the physics and the sounds and things like that. But the actual car models, and probably the main thing that let it down, but it looks good. I'm properly impressed with it. And of course, I saw this pop up and I just kind of had to partake in this, just like we did with the Need for Speed Underground 2 RTX mod. Now, it's actually perfect timing considering that the next Need for Speed Unbound update is actually only going to be, I think it's just over 30 days away at this point, which means very soon we'll get the drag and drift update. And of course, we're going to check those out here. Oh yeah, on the NOS. Unfortunately, the mod does completely disable the lighting, where the lights kind of have that effect. But to be fair, when you do play Need for Speed Underground, I think that is completely broken and it makes the screen just completely black. I remember it's either this or Underground 2. So to actually show you the comparison of what this version looks like compared to the normal version, and I'm not going to do the, oh, this is what it looks like on PS2 comparison. I'm actually going to side by side what it looks like if you play on PC now versus what it looks like with the RTX mod. And basically, you can let me know in the comments your opinion on whether you think it actually looks better or looks worse. Because, of course, one thing you lose with these mods is the stylistic effects, because they're trying to go as real as possible. But overall, I think it actually looks really good. I think it would help if, you know, we could HDR these games. I do brighten up my capture because things are so dark in some of these games. But the lighting, the placement of the blending and the smoothing of the lights, and it makes sense in my head. I think it looks better. I personally think so. But I do miss the stylistic elements. That's definitely missing. Time for some drag racing. And it is very, very dark. The lighting genuinely has some trouble sometimes because of, again, the advantage of closed track. Essentially, with closed track, oh my God, I'm just scared of, that's the handbrake. That's not what I wanted to do. With closed track, you can kind of hide everything in the background and go full detail, full elements all the time. And so finally now, oh my God, I must blow my engine up. Don't mind me. I'm going to completely miss that jump. It's fine. No, don't pass me. No! I know, again, as a kid, this is how the game looked, but maybe just more stylistic. But there's definitely no way the game looks this good. There's also no way people remember how the actual game kind of played and felt when it comes to, I want the Need for Speed Underground handling back again. That's the wrong button. They genuinely do not remember. There's no way. But just like we were saying in the fact that the Underground update is coming, it's pretty cool to come back and experience what this was. And ultimately, it completely changes the handling. Now, the reason I changed cars is because I tried drifting in the Skyline a little bit earlier, and actually it was kind of difficult. Piss on it, because it was all-wheel drive, obviously. Again, you can make the game look even more beautiful than this. I'm on a 4080. It is possible if you crank the settings up to full, you will probably get about 3 frames a second. I'm doing incredibly here, as you can tell. I'm literally last place. Oh! Oh! Something I've noticed with ray tracing, and especially when you throw DLSS on there or some equivalent like FSR, you'll notice kind of artifacting on the cars, and that really puts me off. It's something that kind of makes me usually keep those settings off. And ultimately, ray tracing overall is, in most modern games, I don't think it's 100% necessary. It makes a bigger difference when you jump to these older games and you enable it on those. You can definitely tell a difference. I got that maxed multiplier, baby. I know what I'm doing. Look at me. I expect to be the ultimate drift king when the new update comes out. But seriously, I'm really, really looking forward to it. Got no NOS. And it's going to be interesting, though. When you've got burst NOS in Need for Speed, imagine what that's going to be like. When you start sliding around and you can burst NOS. Should it just be fully disabled? Should it just... I don't know. They got to work this stuff out. Because right now, what it does is it ruins my damn drift. No! Now, when I was looking around for save games and things like this for Need for Speed Underground, I actually found a comment from people saying, oh, don't bother with this game. There's no free roam. It's pointless. The brain of the young gamer. We old gamers here. We want back closed track on Burnout. Specifically Burnout. I feel like on Need for Speed, they should not go back. It was definitely better with the open world. We can all collectively agree there, I think. But genuinely, I think it looks pretty good. I do think there's some elements that definitely... The cars ultimately let it down the most, which makes sense. The car models are, you know, they're just low and they're in your face. You're looking at them. But the environment you can see in the background, really decent quality. Now, not only is there drift, drag, and whatever in this game, we have got a few other events that I really do miss. You just take the normal, you know, circuit events, but the driver that finishes last on each lap is eliminated. That's right, friends. It is an eliminator. Was that shop called Coochie? What the frick? I can't look to the side, but look how good this looks. They've done a proper nice job here overall. And I'm pretty impressed with how quickly they've obviously got the reflections on the cars. Even if they do look properly metallic. Come on, come on, come on. Chase me, dog. Oh! I feel like the NOS effect is also the same as the other ray tracing mod. The city looks really good. I'm really, really impressed overall. Oh, the purple light. The lighting carries everything so much. Pretty obvious, right? But you can see some flickering on some of the lights here when they're... Again, that's probably most definitely... Oh! Damn it. A DLSS thing is what I was going to say. That, my friends, was a me thing. No! See, this is why lap knockouts aren't a thing, because crybabies will be like, oh, I don't know how to play that. I'll quit this game. I'll lose. I quit. But Night Runner's proved otherwise. Night Runner's popped off. I'm so happy. And the game's not even out yet. It's just a bloody demo. It would be pretty cool, actually, to see them bring some more events. Of course, we've got circuit, sprint, drag. We've not got drag. We've got drift. I guess we're missing 3. We've got free run. I guess that's... It's not technically an event that you would need, but hey, it could be kind of useful. For people that want to do lap times and stuff, what do you mean they could just use circuit races? Something quite interesting, actually. I noticed in the career mode, they haven't actually completed the career on this save game, because if you complete the final race in the game, I don't think you actually have access to customizing your cars anymore and something. But then I kind of forgot, in the customized cars, this is where you trade in the car, because you can only have one active car at a time, and as you jumped through, it kept the modifications on each car, which is kind of weird. So any part you placed on one car, basically it carries across. And it's a kind of weird feeling. I completely forgot about this. And there's some elements of Underground that absolutely needed to go in the bin. It wasn't long before now we have infinite garages. Actually, I think technically it's limited. I think it's about, what, 200, 250, 300 between online and offline. Some of the sounds in this game is so good. Ready, 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 ready. The sounds are so good. Oh, one of my favorites is the Supra arriving and How would you feel about like style points returning in the way that they're in this game, where you had to absolutely rice out your cars? This and Underground 2. Otherwise, absolutely just you can't progress properly. I think it was awful, and I'm glad that it was removed, because not everyone wants to rice their car. I know sometimes I like to create some nice cars. And I don't want to be penalized for that, you know? This is terrifying. I always hated this section. Some of these races in this game bring back nightmares. Of the Need for Speed games, when I first started playing Need for Speed, I actually played Porsche Unleashed as one of my first games. But Need for Speed Underground was the first one that oh no, I hate this section. And it's even worse because it's dark. Oh my God. If you tap that wall, you are dead. But there were so many little points in this game that just complete hard stops. You just see they just died. Oh, it looks good though. Properly impressed with it overall. And the big jumps. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about, baby. The McDonald's ads as well. I'm gonna be honest. If McDonald's actually paid for these advertisements in games, can you do that in games today? If McDonald's was advertising in the games, I'm actually now craving fries. I don't know specifically McDonald's fries, but I'm craving some salty fries. Would that be allowed? But I mean, then you've got Fortnite and people, I don't know, kids going to Family Guy. So maybe. I think McDonald's and Burger King, these ads should return. There's no question. I want to see that. So the cameras in Underground as well. You got this first person view, which instantly makes the game look like modern. Might give it a bit more style in terms of the motion blur. And this view, which you can see the car a little bit more, which I haven't been using. I really sincerely apologize for that. Also, I noticed Eddie's Skyline. I just kind of realized the differences of this one compared to the new one that's in the new Need for Speed games. So it was rebuilt, and I think they did a really good job, but there's definitely some differences, and it's probably just because this is like a low poly version. You got some power slide point, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, this Acura is so sick. I feel like you unlocked it, but the lights keep breaking in the tunnel. I don't know if you've realized. It looks so good. I remember unlocking this in my game. I think it was quite easy to do. But there's some really cool cars in the game that I would love to see come to the new game. Even if it's mostly livery based. I'm rubbish at creating liveries. And the liveries are not crossplay. So if the base game got the liveries, I'm all down for it. Look at that. Drag and drift. Imagine just showing that. The Unbound audience, we're going to be like, we're ready. We're ready. Look how bright the lights. Oh, no, it's in reverse. I promise you, I'm not intentionally doing that. It's an accident, okay? This thing feels really slow by comparison. That's gonna be another thing. Is it gonna be different in the new game based on like power, performance, the type of car it is? Because right now, Need for Speed has a much better physics system underneath that it does use. They keep advertising it as, you know, they emulate as realistic physics as some of the simulator games. They just then put their flavor on top of it, you know, just to spice it a little bit and make it more arcade. And ultimately, that's what Need for Speed should be. An arcade racing game. I just realized as well how far behind these guys are falling. This car is definitely a lower class car. The AI is just not trying by comparison. A lot of people would say that Need for Speed Underground 2 is by far the better of the two games, but I feel like I have more memories and nostalgia for the first game. I feel like it was more to the point and I kind of never got lost as to what I was doing. Something that I feel like is missing with games today is, yes, they have a lot of distraction gameplay, and it's kind of the point. More content to get you trying to play more long-term sort of thing. But thinking about it, I kind of miss a traditional menu, and here you go, you've completed it. Here you go, you've completed it. Saying that, did I play any Forza Motorsport? No, I did not. Did I complete the Drive Club menus? No, I did not. I just did the ones I want to do because they had an element of, you know, I'm not going to lock everything behind progression. You could do what you want, but I do ultimately think you lose something by not having a structured kind of menu. Most ones at 05 did a really good job of kind of giving you the best of both worlds in that way. You could play how you wanted to play, and you could complete everything if you wanted to, but also you didn't have to progress. So, you know, I still think in terms of choosing your poison, Most Wanted 05, very, very top dog. Top dog. I'm not a completionist, and I feel like that should be for completionists. I shouldn't have to complete absolutely everything unless I get a reward for doing so. Then maybe I'll do it. But anyway, the lighting here, overall, properly impressed with it. This is a really cool mod. If you want to go and check it out yourself, there's a link down in the description. You do need a beefy GPU. I would recommend, if you don't have the 40 series, you might as well not bother. Because I'm going to show you actually. If you were to come into this and actually turn off DLSS, for those that don't know, this basically lowers the resolution of the game and then upscales it so that I'm actually running this game at 4K, but it's actually a 720p image. So if I go into the menu and bring up the graphics settings and actually turn off DLSS, it will then jump to native resolution. Look how my mouse is moving. This is how the game looks. Now, it's not a huge difference, which is good. That means DLSS is doing its job and sharpening very well, but this is how the game would run if you were playing it at 4K. So it is, you're gonna need a NASA computer basically. I can't do this on my 4080. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you smash like, subscribe if you're new, and check out Underground 2 right here.